Dare to lead. Learn the secrets of empathy, strength, and core values. Are you ready to become the leader your team needs? Discover the powerful principles that will transform your leadership style, bridging the gap between you and your team, and unlocking the true potential of empathy and strength. Leadership is not just about holding a title, it's about building trust, fostering connection, and leading with purpose. In Dare to Lead, Brené Brown reveals the deep secrets of becoming an effective, empathetic leader, sharing the tools and insights that will allow you to lead with authenticity and courage. Whether you're managing a small team or leading a large organization, this audiobook will equip you with the strategies to inspire trust, cultivate empathy, and translate core values into action. Focus points. The essence of effective leadership. Discover what separates good leaders from great ones. Strength and intelligence as core elements. Learn how to blend strength with emotional intelligence in your leadership approach. The power of empathy. Understand why empathy is a sign of strength and how it can transform your relationships with your team. Cultivating empathy in leadership. Gain practical tools to improve your emotional awareness and connect deeply with others. Living by your core values. Explore how to identify and live out your core values to align your behavior with your purpose. Self-trust and team trust. Learn how trusting yourself is key to building trust with others, leading to a cohesive and empowered team. Learning outcomes. You'll discover how to break down the barriers between leaders and teams, fostering a culture of trust and collaboration. You'll learn how to harness the strength of empathy to create deeper, more meaningful connections with your team. You'll gain the skills to identify and live out your core values, transforming both your leadership style and your personal life. You'll leave with actionable strategies for cultivating self-trust and empowering your team to do the same. Focus point 1: the essence of effective leadership. Every individual reacts and responds differently to various situations. This can sometimes result in unintentional negative behavior, which influences how we approach tasks, set goals, and meet deadlines at work. Many leaders fail to set realistic deadlines for their teams, often driven by the desire for quick results or personal ambitions. The issue is that the team doesn't understand these motivations. They only see an unachievable deadline and perceive the leader as difficult to satisfy. In some cases, setting such unrealistic deadlines stems from fear or insecurity about one's leadership abilities. Courage is essential for great leadership. Trust yourself. Fear won't drive success. A team must have a shared understanding of the tasks at hand, which can only be achieved through effective communication. For example, Brené Brown's leadership team implemented a system where each member took notes during meetings and collaborated on setting deadlines. This approach enabled them to communicate clearly and offer support where needed. Organizations often fall into binary thinking patterns, which are harmful because they prevent employees from reaching their full potential. Examples include operations versus marketing, finance versus creative, spenders versus savers, the heart versus analytics, the dreamer versus the realists. Labeling people with stereotypes or assigning them only one role restricts their ability to grow. However, people are capable of much more, and understanding this can enhance leadership. The following sections will explain the different leadership styles and how you can stand out as an effective leader. Focus point 2: strength and intelligence are intrinsic to leadership. Colonel Halfhill, Director of Innovation, Analysis, and Leadership Development for Air Force Global Strike Command, shared an important lesson she learned from Dr. Brené Brown: the power of choosing language carefully based on the situation. Complex issues require unique approaches. After discussing a problem with her team, what seemed like fatigue turned out to be loneliness. In today's rapidly evolving world, challenges extend beyond technological advancements and AI taking over jobs. The real struggle lies in embracing human qualities such as vulnerability, empathy, and emotional intelligence. A courageous leader asks the right questions to uncover the true issues at hand. One problematic leadership style is armored leadership, which drives perfectionism and promotes a fear of failure. This type of perfectionism is a destructive belief system, constantly unattainable and leading to feelings of shame, judgment, and blame. In contrast, daring leadership encourages healthy striving, empathy, and self-compassion. A strong leader involves their team in discussions about how perfectionism differs from a genuine pursuit of excellence. Armored leadership thrives on scarcity and overlooks joy and recognition. Joy and vulnerability are closely connected, yet we often fear vulnerability. Even when we feel positive emotions, we tend to worry about what might go wrong, preventing us from fully enjoying the moment. We turn joy into foreboding, hesitating to celebrate success, or withholding well-deserved recognition, fearing that joy could lead to disaster. However, it doesn't have to be this way. Gratitude allows leaders to fully embrace the pleasures of accomplishment, love, and joy. Research by Globoforce shows that recognition improves employee engagement and satisfaction. Though challenges and setbacks are inevitable, they shouldn't diminish the joy of success. After achieving something, take a moment to celebrate it. Focus point 3. Exposing the heart to empathy is a sign of strength. Dr. Brené Brown was raised with the belief that illness equated to weakness, viewing sickness, unreliability, and untrustworthiness as undesirable traits. She had to unlearn these misconceptions after an incident where she accidentally hit her head on a glass wall. Suffering from a concussion taught her that illness does not equal laziness. In fact, the harder she tried to rush her recovery, the more setbacks she faced. Accepting the need for time to heal, without shame, proved to be a challenging mindset, especially with many appointments and activities on her schedule. Shame emerges when we feel that our actions render us unworthy of connection. It manifests in various ways, such as failing to contribute to an evolving organization, shouting at loved ones, losing a job, or hiding an addiction. Mislabeling shame as embarrassment, guilt, or humiliation can be detrimental as it reduces our empathy for others experiencing similar feelings. Engaging in discussions about shame can enhance our overall well-being. Daring leaders refuse to use guilt as a means to achieve results. When terminating an employee, it's vital to offer them an exit with dignity. Be authentic about your own experiences of shame. Don't compromise your values. Instead, aim to be more courageous, compassionate, and connected following the experience. When someone is going through a difficult time, it's often more beneficial to acknowledge their pain rather than attempt to lessen it with platitudes. When Dr. Brené Brown missed her daughter Ellen's last high school field hockey game, Suzanne, the organization's president and COO, empathized with her in unexpected ways. Despite careful planning to attend, everything fell apart, leading Dr. Brown to cry and express her deep disappointment. Rather than engaging in comparative suffering, Suzanne connected with the emotions Dr. Brown was experiencing and used thoughtful words to convey her support. Focus point 4. Leaders need to understand and hone empathy. We often judge others in the areas where we ourselves feel the most shame. When we sense that others are evaluating us, we may respond by criticizing those around us. However, our innate curiosity and desire to learn can fuel our wish to understand others better. Viewing the world through someone else's lens fosters empathy and diminishes judgment. Wherever perfectionism is driving us, shame is riding shotgun. Brené Brown, Ph.D. Empathy involves understanding another person's feelings while being mindful of the body language of everyone involved. Crafting a template for how to express empathy in various situations can be challenging, as it requires genuine connection. This complex skill demands practice. You might stumble initially, but it's essential to be willing to try again until you find success. Therefore, empathy begins with treating yourself kindly. We often say things to ourselves that we wouldn't dream of saying to others in similar situations. Instead, we should converse with ourselves in a way that encourages feelings of love and acceptance. Self-kindness is akin to self-empathy. Mastering empathy requires consistent practice, just like any other skill leaders must cultivate. Leaders need to develop essential abilities through discipline. In sports, for example, athletes train by practicing specific skills repetitively. A player might wonder why they need to execute 50 flip turns rather than jumping straight into the game. Skill acquisition and training ensure that knowledge becomes second nature, equipping them to tackle significant challenges. Leadership is not merely the pinnacle of development. It should be a journey where leaders grow alongside their teams. Leaders must possess grounded confidence to navigate conversations, make decisions, and uphold their values while leading. Grounded confidence combines the ability to engage in meaningful discussions, a sense of curiosity, and dedicated practice. Effective engagement involves framing the right conversation and asking crucial questions. Curiosity is driven by a desire to learn. A curious person takes the time to listen, inquire, and uncover the actual problem rather than jumping to conclusions about perceived issues. The more we learn, the more we wish to explore. For Dr. Sunny Bell, the principal of Morton Ranch Junior High in Katy, Texas, embracing vulnerability allowed her to share her personal story with her staff, helping them understand her purpose, passion, and commitment. This openness also encouraged her team to practice vulnerability. Did you know? According to Raj Vardman, 69% of millennials feel that leadership development is lacking in the workplace, leading to 91% of them remaining in a job for less than 3 years. Focus point 5. Identifying your core values and transforming them into behavior. The first steps toward embodying your values involve writing them down, narrowing them down to just 2, and naming them. While it may feel like you have an endless array of values, these 2 core choices form the foundation for all the others. The next step is to translate these named values into specific behaviors. Identify 3 or 4 behaviors that support your values, as well as 3 or 4 behaviors that, while tempting, contradict them. For Dr. Brené Brown, her core values are courage and faith, which drive her advocacy on issues like race, immigration, and social justice. She firmly rejects any dehumanizing language and focuses on finding the humanity in others, reserving her disdain for harmful ideas rather than the individuals themselves. Courage and faith enable you to support those who are experiencing pain and discomfort. The third step is to practice empathy and self-compassion. Empathy empowers us to combat secrecy, silence, and judgment. Self-compassion enables us to encourage ourselves before we seek support from others. It is vital for our mental and emotional well-being, contributing to reduced stress, enhanced resilience, and increased self-esteem. Additionally, self-compassion helps us manage difficult situations and recover from setbacks more effectively. We must remain aligned with our values when giving and receiving feedback. Instead of sitting across from someone with a problem between us, we should be willing to sit alongside them. This approach encourages open communication. We should listen actively, ask clarifying questions when needed, and focus on praising others rather than criticizing them. Understanding the values of others helps us connect with their actions, allowing us to interpret the true meaning behind their words and behaviors without letting preconceived notions cloud our judgment. It is also crucial to establish clear expectations and consistently follow up values with corresponding behaviors. Daring leaders operate under the belief that individuals are doing their best and assume positive intent, which fosters an environment conducive to growth and change. Focus point 6. True self-trust reflects in your ability to trust others. You may find it easy to claim that you trust yourself, but extending that same trust to your colleagues can be a different story. While believing in your own trustworthiness is important, being perceived as reliable by others is equally vital. Discussing trust can be challenging, but instead of addressing it in broad terms, it's more effective to highlight specific behaviors that hinder progress. Attributes that define and build trust include boundaries, reliability, accountability, vault, integrity, non-judgment, and generosity. An acronym that can help you remember these qualities is BRAVING. While most of these attributes are straightforward, the term vault warrants further explanation. This attribute encompasses the nuances of confidentiality. When being vulnerable in a team environment, it's essential to establish rules of engagement to prevent overstepping boundaries, such as not divulging secrets to outsiders or sharing information that doesn't belong to you. As Dr. Brené Brown states, we need to trust to be vulnerable, and we need to be vulnerable in order to build trust. The foundation of trust starts within yourself. You must believe in your abilities and intentions, consistently applying the braving inventory in your interactions. This self-trust is a critical step in the journey toward trusting others while maintaining faith in yourself. Trust can be built in fleeting moments, but can also be lost just as quickly. Being brave involves viewing failure as an opportunity for learning. In our current culture, we often raise children to be perfectionists who seek validation from others. Consequently, these individuals may grow into adults lacking grounded confidence and independent skills. The process of learning to rise consists of three components: the reckoning, the rumble, and the revolution. Reckoning involves acknowledging your emotions and becoming curious about them. One effective strategy for reckoning is box breathing, which entails breathing in, holding your breath, exhaling, and pausing, each for a count of 4. Rumble refers to crafting narratives that explain situations. Instead of jumping to conclusions or assuming conspiracy, it's crucial to check these stories against reality. Revolution is about shedding your protective armor and engaging with vulnerability. It means leaning into your values, bravely trusting with an open heart, and taking ownership of your narratives and life. This revolution demands authenticity and courage. Conclusion: we've explored the transformative essence of leadership through the lens of empathy, core values, and self-trust. Dr. Brené Brown's work challenges us to redefine what it means to lead with strength and vulnerability, creating a balanced and authentic approach that inspires teams to excel. Here's a quick recap of the key focus points. The essence of effective leadership: understand that each person's reactions and behaviors are influenced by unique experiences, making it essential for leaders to set realistic goals and communicate effectively. Strength and intelligence are intrinsic to leadership. Real strength involves embracing vulnerability and balancing it with the courage to stand firm against perfectionism and fear-driven behavior. Exposing the heart to empathy is a sign of strength. Being open to empathy means resisting the urge to minimize others' pain. True strength comes from embracing the discomfort of vulnerability to connect genuinely. Leaders need to understand and hone empathy. Empathy is not a one-size-fits-all solution. It is a nuanced skill that requires continuous practice, grounded confidence, and the willingness to make mistakes and learn from them. Identifying your core values and transforming them into behavior. Values are more than words. They must translate into consistent behaviors that guide your decisions and interactions with others. True self-trust reflects in your ability to trust others. Building trust starts within yourself and extends to others through specific behaviors. Using the Braving framework: boundaries, reliability, accountability, vault, integrity, non-judgment, and generosity helps ensure trust is nurtured and maintained. Practical recommendations: start with self-reflection. Write down your core values, narrow them down, and identify behaviors that support and contradict them. Knowing your values is the first step toward authentic leadership. Embrace empathy and vulnerability. Practice listening with intention and creating safe spaces for honest communication. Empathy begins with understanding others' perspectives and being willing to show up authentically. Use the Braving inventory. Evaluate your personal and professional relationships against the Braving framework to see where trust is flourishing and where it needs improvement. Celebrate small wins and practice gratitude. Taking time to recognize achievements, both big and small, boosts morale and solidifies trust. Practicing gratitude ensures that joy is present in your leadership journey. Commit to continuous learning. Leadership is an evolving process. Cultivate curiosity and be open to new perspectives, feedback, and growth opportunities. The key takeaways from Dare to Lead highlight how empathy, strength, and core values form the backbone of courageous leadership. We've learned that effective leadership is not just about authority or getting results. It's about human connection, authenticity, and the willingness to be vulnerable. These principles create environments where people feel seen, valued, and empowered to bring their best selves to work every day. Thank you for joining us on this journey through Dare to Lead. We appreciate your time and interest in exploring the powerful insights of Dr. Brené Brown. If you found this audiobook valuable, please like, subscribe, and share it with others who could benefit from its lessons. Remember, for those looking to improve their English language skills, the more they listen, the better they speak. Regular listening not only enhances vocabulary but also builds a deeper understanding of the language, improving both comprehension and communication. Let's continue to strive for excellence, cultivate empathy, and lead with the courage to be our authentic selves. Thank you, and we hope to see you in our next audiobook session.